immigrants, just like
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
came from Ukraine with suitcases,
Yeah.
our family, and we were refugees, right? So
Wow.
we didn't have a lot of money. There was a lot of persecution, so you could
Crazy.
not go to school. You couldn't get a job. You bought that first apartment building that I think you still
Was that the first big apartment building?
Man, that was a dump. First day, I get there, I knock on the door to collect rent from the very first tenant. I knock on the door again, no one answers.
Yeah.
So I use the key to get in. Dude, people are gone. They just took off.
Wow.
And to make matters worse, right? Like, we're walking around, there's roaches everywhere. I'm talking about, like, they're like falling on top of you.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta figure it out. And when you realize that it's almost like no one's gonna help you,
Okay.
then your brain flips and your brain starts figuring things out. I love what I do. I mean, every day I wake up, this is a new day. I know I'm coming in the office with problems. I just know it. So Greg, welcome to my show.
All right, guys, we are episode 54. Today we're somewhere else. We're not at the office. We're not in a business place. We're actually at a studio that Carlos, I think, rents out. He doesn't own it yet, but maybe soon. I have a special guest, a friend, a guy that I know a long time. We've done business. I don't know. I don't want to introduce him because there's too many things to say. Here's Igor. Tell me a little bit about you, buddy.
Yeah, Greg. Thanks, man. Thanks for the intro. We go way back to Chicago days when we used to live here.
Yeah.
So you're one of the OGs, the OG realtor I reached out to, and we were doing flips in Chicago, and we've come a long way from doing business in Chicago. Moved out to North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm in the Charlotte area now. So between then and now, flipped houses, bought apartments.
I mean, we definitely miss you, because,
I don't miss the cold.
I mean, I miss you. I miss the business too. I'm like,
Yeah. It's all right. We'll, come down to Charlotte and we'll do something there. But yeah, we're doing a lot of new construction in Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's kind of the primary business. So developments, new builds, flex space, commercial. Did some self storage.
But Igor, you keep it pretty humble, because you're a humble guy, and I could tell already. Like, you just sum that up. But you started like you lived in I recently sold your first place ever.
Yeah.
And it was just like a condo, like it was a coach home.
Immigrants, just like you.
Yeah.
Came from Ukraine with suitcases.
Yeah.
Our family, and we were refugees, right? So
Wow.
we didn't have a lot of money.
You
And
came with the refugee status,
yes.
visa?
Yeah, no passports.
Wow, dude.
You had to give those up. And I was 5,
Wow.
2 sisters, parents, and then grandparents. So we all came, lived in
Wow.
that Portage Park area for a couple of years, moved out to the suburbs, and just kind of started with that hustle every immigrant has.
Yeah.
Started that hustle. My parents.
I mean, your parents are super hustle.
Of course.
I know
I mean,
them.
they had to make ends meet. So just kind of seeing that from them sort of instilled that entrepreneurship.
Yeah. But again, from
vibe.
zero.
Yeah, from nothing.
Zero.
We didn't have hand-me-downs or anything.
Yeah,
I had hand-me-down girls' clothes for my sister. That's how poor we were. I have pictures of me with like girl shoes.
Yeah, I bet, man. Yeah, they're like, oh, it works.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
We're not gonna buy you new stuff.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you got the kids with the Nikes and
Nah, dude,
the
no
Jordans.
way. Air One, forget about Air One.
You kidding me?
Yeah, right. Your dad and your mom, no way. And then even when you started, right? You got married and everything. You were raised. You went to school. I think you went to UIC. You told me here. You still started humble. You had a job. Didn't you have a real job? Like,
dude,
I know you still have a real job. I'm saying about real corporate job. When I met you, you were still working.
My parents never had that opportunity to really go to school, get an education. There was a lot of persecution between, being Christian or just any religion in general in the USSR. So you could not go to school. You couldn't get a job.
Wow.
So for them, that was a big thing they wanted to instill in myself and my sisters.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry to interrupt you. What part of Ukraine?
The western part, closer
western
to
part.
Poland. So Lviv, which is now kind of where everything's more or less calm.
A little bit more calm because it's closer to the Europe.
Yeah, so closer to Western Europe as opposed to Russia. So they instilled that in us to go to school, get a job, and that's kind of the path we took.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
I always had that bug though, kind of start my own thing.
Yeah, so you were a corporate. I remember, like it was yesterday. I remember you working this job and you were doing stuff on the side.
You remember me taking the train out to the suburbs?
Dude, I remember. Yes, I do. I swear to God. You're like, I'll meet you on the phone. You gave me a time. You text me. It was really cool. You gave me a shot too. You know, we didn't know each other. And for you, a big thing was about the work ethics. You want to make sure you work with somebody that works because, of course, you're working your ass off, you know, to make things happen. You want to work with somebody that understands that.
Of course.
You know, and I think between me and you, hands down, we have that. I'm sorry. I'm not keeping humble for that. Because we'll outwork any competition any day, you know? And you were doing two things at the same time. And then you started little by little, but, like, you know, a little flip, little rental property. Yesterday we had a nice dinner, you know, with Basil. And that's awesome. Like, you guys are like, you know, it's a team. You know, and I think that helped you to grow too, in my opinion.
Of course. Looking for my first investors, like when I met you, right?
Yeah.
And talked to a couple guys. They backed out. So, I mean, what else do? You got to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So I cashed out my 401k that I had in my corporate job.
Really?
I cashed it out because I'm like,
that.
you know, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like 30, 40 grand.
Yeah.
And then my brother-in-law, he put a HELOC on his house, and my parents gave us some money. So it was like, hey, we scrapped everything together.
Yeah.
And that's how we got started. Bought that first apartment building.
Was that the first big apartment building?
That was the first. That was the first like real investment.
Commercial side.
Yeah, 6-unit apartment building, Hanover Park. Man, that was a dump. First day, I get there. I knock on the door to collect rent from the very first tenant.
Oh man!
I knock on the door and no one answers. So I'm like, all right, that's weird. I knock on the door again, no one answers.
Yeah.
So I use the key to get in. Dude, people are gone. They just took off.
Wow.
And to make matters worse, right? Like, we were walking around, dude, roaches everywhere. I'm talking about, like, they're, like, falling on top of you.
Oh, my God.
From the ceiling.
Oh, my God.
They're, like, everywhere. They'll shovel them. Like, we had to shovel roaches.
Wow.
So that was, like, welcome to real estate. And I think most people are, like, if they saw that, they'd be like, no, I'm out.
No way. Yeah.
We're not doing it. But, hey.
Oh, they would never do it again. Like, they will stop and they will sell it, you know? But that didn't scare you.
And so I think having that like very first
it was good
difficult situation that you had to like figure out, that sort of like set the bar of like, all right, if we could do this, you know, we're okay.
I mean, you guys were like, even yesterday over dinner we were talking, like, you guys are not afraid like of negative stuff that happened. You're like, okay, it happens. Let me figure out how to work it out.
Yeah, you have
to, setback, right? You're not afraid about setback.
I think if you let that get to you, right, you can't be in this business.
Yeah.
You know, because it's all about the people.
Yeah.
It's not really about the property. The properties you can fix, but it's if you got renters, if you have buyers, sellers.
Yeah.
Everybody comes with a personality. Everyone has some quirks. And if you can't deal with that, then, you know, you're not going to be successful in this business.
Yeah. For me, I feel, you know, I mean, it's a success story, right? Like, you know, I like that, you know, I meet you from nowhere. Now all of a sudden you're building, right? That's awesome. But a lot of credit goes to you because you do a lot of self-learning. Did somebody teach you how to buy? I mean, maybe some advice from some realtor, but you went from buying rentals to flipping to now you're building. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
So I didn't have a mentor. I think right now with social media, so much online education, you know, you can learn a lot. But I mean, back when I was doing things, it was like, hey, you got to figure it out. And when you realize that it's almost like no one's going to help you.
Okay.
Then your brain flips and your brain starts figuring things out. Because if you're stuck on an island and you just say, all right, no one's coming to get me, you're just going to die.
Yeah.
And if you realize that, hey, no one's coming to get me, but I have to figure out how to get out, that's when your brain starts working and figuring out.
Yeah.
So,
but you're also taking the risk, though.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
you're diving right in. It's not like you're like studying online or something or reading and then all of a sudden you never do it.
I think the best way to learn is just to go in. You make mistakes, you're going to learn, and it's going to be quick. I tell all my kids, hey, just do it. Just do it. I mean, you remember, we used to do work ourselves. Like, I used to, I mean, after work, you take the suit off and like, you start demoing.
I know. After coming with the train.
And after like years and years of that, like when we moved to North Carolina, we didn't have anybody. Like we left all our whole network of contractors, of support people. Just
zero.
Nobody. And that kind of got me into this, all right, I got to figure things out. Like I gotta hire people because I suck at this. Like I'm a terrible tradesman. I can't do carpentry. I can only demo because I could break things. So I started finding.
I can't even do that.
Yeah.
I'll break the wrong beam.
You demo the house. Tear it down. But I had to find people, and it's kind of a skill you develop. But just giving that up of like, all right, I can't control everything. I can't do everything myself.
Yeah.
Once you get over that and just find people to actually fill in the gaps of, all right, if you're not good at it, you have to find, whether it's a partner.
Yeah.
So right now, building houses, like I don't know how to build a house. I have a GC license, but my brother-in-law, he's a great builder. So he goes ground up. So he's able to actually work with the subs and schedule all the trades, and we have project managers. If that was just me, I couldn't find the deals, or I couldn't find the financing. But we have skills that complement each other, and I think once you find people that complement your skills, that's really the key to growth. Yeah.
How did you end up in
Carolina?
Like from North Carolina? Yeah.
I think we just always we wanted to move out of Chicago. Like I grew up here.
You were itching.
It's great.
I remember.
We had that itch, man. We were just wanted to go to either Atlanta or North Carolina, maybe Florida. Just kind of, went a few different places, checked it out. We really liked North Carolina. We tried to make things work with my job at the time. They weren't able to move us, and eventually an opportunity came up to where they moved me to Raleigh, and that's where we kind of started out. And now we made our way to Charlotte, and we have a lot of family there now and a lot of friends. Since then we had my parents move, my sisters moved, and now we have extended family moving. So
I know.
Great.
I've been taking care of all the real estate.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you. But
you got one more coming up this weekend.
I know. I do. I just found out. But what gave you the itch of building then? Because you went from rental properties, little flips, and then all of a sudden I see I'm like, wait, he's building now? I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, it's just I think it's one of those things where your hustle meets an opportunity, and those two things happen. So my brother-in-law at the time, he was building up in the Northeast.
Okay.
And he moved to Charlotte. We were still in Raleigh, and he's like, man, he couldn't figure out what he was doing for like a year. And
really?
Finally, he was like, no, my other brother-in-law.
Oh, your brother-in-law.
Yeah,
okay,
Vlad.
Okay.
So he decided, hey, I'm gonna try building a duplex here.
Okay.
And he's just gonna see how it goes. And I was like, all right, can you kind of walk me through the numbers? And so he did, and I was like, you know what, I just kind of want to follow, where this goes. I visited him a couple times. I saw the project going up. It was just I think 2 duplexes at the time. So going up, and he was done, and I visited him, and I was like, what are you going to sell this for? And when he told me the number, I was like, there's no way. I go, what do you have into it? And it was a ridiculous spread, ridiculous spread. Okay.
Wow.
You're doubling your money.
Wow.
And so I'm like, if you sell it for close to what you think you're gonna get for it,
you thought it was no chance.
I go, I'm gonna go pack up my stuff and move. And then so we go back. He calls me. He's like, dude, we got exactly what we wanted for it. And I was like, no freaking way.
Wow.
So we put our house on the market. We're like, hey, we're doing this because once you've gone through a couple cycles, you kind of tell, all right, this isn't normal in the market.
Yeah.
So we were riding around. I'm like, this is not normal. We're gonna see this for maybe a couple years. And that's it.
And
it cannot sustain itself.
Correct.
And so we took those 2-3 years.
Correct.
And just really kind of went balls to the wall.
Maximize
and just
as much as
maxed
possible.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, key for a lot of people to understand. It's when the market's down, you have to recognize it, and then when the market's going up, you have to recognize it.
Yeah.
And for a lot of new people, when they're starting out in COVID, and they saw that spike, they thought that was forever, right? And right now we got see a little bit of softening, and people are freaking out. They're like, this is going nuts.
Question for you then: when you're going all in on these projects, you always have Plan B just in case something goes wrong?
Yes.
Let's say there's a crash. Do you what's your plan?
I love that. I'm like the anti-risky investor. People think I'm risky, but
I know.
I always
know
have,
you're not.
I have the plan B.
I know because you have questioned my commission too in the past. So I know you.
Yeah?
You're like, no, I'm joking around. No, you've been always respectful. But you like to run your numbers and make sure
of course. You have to figure out because if you're building 5 mansions and they're sitting on the market and you can't sell them and you have a payment, you're gonna be in trouble after a little while. So our whole philosophy is we build multifamily, we build small starter homes, step-down homes, step-up homes, but kind of that market, that niche market where if it doesn't sell, you can turn around, you can rent it. At least you're making your payments, you're breaking even, maybe a little cash flow, and then you're waiting on appreciation in 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. So that was your plan B.
That's all.
You're worst case scenario, it's going to rent, it's going to be fine.
Exactly. Yeah. I love the rentals. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like I know you have rentals, I have rentals.
I do, yeah.
And it's a great retirement strategy. You get depreciation, a lot of tax benefits. So
it is.
Yeah, I think everybody should do it.
Plus, I think so too. You know, a lot of people just, some people get scared, right? Or they cannot deal with, the roaches that all of a sudden fell on your head, right? When they get bent out of shape, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to sell everything. Forget about it. This is not meant to be, But I say, like, anybody out there, like, do something. Yeah. Okay, maybe real estate's not your game, but do some stocks, learn something, learn a business, do something. That's what I say. Don't stay home and just watch TV.
Yeah.
Do something.
But that's easy. That's the comfortable, easy.
Yeah.
Easy
or
thing.
Listen, if you're happy, sorry to interrupt you. If you're happy with that, that's fine. I'm happy for you. But don't complain. If you're complaining and looking at somebody else, oh, they're lucky. Oh, they got this. No. Most of the people I meet, they're not lucky. They went to chase their luck. Luck didn't come. They went out of the door and went to chase their luck. And then they maybe got a little lucky, but they were chasing it.
10 times, you fail, but then that one time, that opportunity meets
but
you're
times.
chasing it. Yeah. You're gonna make some money there.
One other thing I noticed that you did recently was, and I was like super impressed. I'm like, what the heck is this? You did like this storage facility, I guess, camp. How do you call it?
Yeah, self-storage. So
self-storage. I'm like,
300 units, 310 units of self-storage.
Dude, amazing.
70% climate controlled, 30% outside storage, boat, RV parking. And it's always been like a recession-proof business.
Yeah, of course.
And so we're kind of diversifying our portfolio because we have a lot of rentals. We have a lot of residential rentals. Yeah. We have some flex space, some warehouses.
Yeah.
But really, this kind of it's another category of real estate that's passive. And what I love about it is, you're able to manage all those units basically, with 0.5 people. So we don't have anybody on site. We don't have staff there. We have a property manager in the office that manages all of our portfolio. And she's also able to take on this relatively easy.
Yeah.
And it's all, there's a lot of technology out there now.
Yeah,
with apps, with
Take
automatic
the
music, automatic locks, automatic gates, the booking system, the website, everything just works.
Nice.
And as long as all that, it costs money, right? It's an investment, but you're not paying an actual person there on site who's taking down your booking, you're running your card. It's all done virtually. So that's the beauty of it. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with the tenants. So your tenants are boxes, furniture, whatever. They're not going to call you and complain about their grandmother or the neighbors parking in their spot or the toilet not flushing. Yeah. There's no plumbing leaks.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It's different, but diversify, like you said. You diversify it. You know what I mean? It's always important to diversify your portfolio.
I had a couple tenants. I was telling you yesterday. We had a crime scene. In the apartment complex.
Yeah. You want to share that story? I mean, I don't want to bring it up, but if you share, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of stories. It's like, hey, I love meeting a real estate investor because I know they have a story.
Yeah.
Whether it's coming in and there's a hoarder house or coming in and they've got roaches.
Yeah, there's always something.
So this one was an apartment complex. It was a small little complex, 8-unit building in North Carolina, but sort of like a C area, C minus, maybe even a D, rougher neighborhood in Greensboro. But get a call from a property manager and she's like, hey, there's caution tape around the building. The cops called and I guess there's been a murder. I was like, there is no way.
Wow.
Like I thought maybe outside or like something on the street. She's like, no. Like they taped off the building. You can't get in. And I was like, hold on, this is getting serious.
You're like, what?
This is wild. So I Google the address of the building. Sure enough, there's a police story.
Right away.
Like I see the building, the picture of the apartment
Your
building. Yeah, and I was like, this is our building.
Like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, so a couple of days go by, I found out there was a homicide. Like 2 tenants were just got in an argument.
Wow.
And started shooting each other, and one of them unfortunately shot the other one, passed away, and we had to deal with that issue. But
so all in the same time, you lost 2 tenants.
Lost 2 tenants
because one went to jail and one died.
We actually lost more because people are kind of like, this is unsafe. We got bullets flying. So it was a lot of repairs, a lot of just kind of dealing with the family drama and everything, moving people out, and insurance of course covers that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's important. But that was something that we had to deal with.
Yeah, that's crazy. Again, you didn't get
Part
scared.
of the business.
You kept going. Part of the business.
So.
But not everybody, some people got to be built like that. Like, you got to have the gut to do it, right? And take on pressure. I always say, like, the more pressure you're able to take, the more money you're going to make.
That's so true.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're not able to take pressure, then that's okay. But you're not going to have a high reward. So North Carolina, you feel like there's more opportunity?
Man, there's a lot of if you're coming
opportunity?
from the north, I feel like you go anywhere in the south, and if you have a hustle and you can make it up here, if you can make it in places like New York, Boston, LA, Chicago, and you bring that hustle and drive down south, man, it's a slower pace of life, so you can make it. Like there's guaranteed.
I know. Yesterday you're like, Greg, if you work only 25%, you'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
It's wild. It's a slower pace of life. It's a little more relaxed. People aren't on the go. Yeah, but you gotta like that kind of thing. So, if that's your pace, hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want to take advantage of that and you bring your hustle down, you'll do good.
You and your brother, I'm like, even if you guys go to Japan tomorrow, you'll figure out.
Oh, I hope
you got
not.
that itch. No, you'll figure out because you got that like grit, and the grit is something like you just have it, so you always figure out.
Yeah, I think so. I think it takes, it's based on the individual, right? There's some people who just kind of figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got it, and I'm trying to instill that in my kids.
Yeah. You got 5 kids, right?
5 kids, yeah. 1 boy, 4 girls.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice, fun.
Growing up, man.
Man, time flies. I remember they were like little, yours little, mine little, and I was like,
Yeah.
It's crazy. Hopefully they're, like we said yesterday, like, we're trying to build a foundation for them, and we want them to do a little bit better than we do, right? We always want the next generation to do better.
Yeah, you want to motivate them. Yeah. We always talk. My wife and I talk about like what can we do to grow their character. That's important to us because you could always give them stuff. Like you could pay for things, you could give them opportunities, but really we want to build their character to make sure that they're good human beings.
Yeah,
and honest and integrity is important. Right. But there's always this fine line of like, are we giving them too much or not enough? Like we don't want to have spoiled kids, but we also want to give them opportunities.
Correct.
So that's a very, very fine line of like how much is too much or how much is not enough.
Correct. I'm more about like, for me it's like I want them to do good, right? And maybe do something what I'm doing or be buying properties and all that stuff. But then again, or become doctors. But then again, I don't know. If they want to work like a, cut hair, that's fine. But become the best beautician there is in the whole United States.
Yeah.
Put
as
all your
effort
efforts
love
in
what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's
love
important.
what you're doing, but put like all your effort in. Don't do it half-ass. That's it. I just don't want no half-ass. That's pretty much it. I'll yell at them even little like, I don't know, I'm not paranoid, but even their room, I'm like, you didn't do your bed? I'm like, you think that's normal? I'm like, that's already, I didn't have time. No, you'll find time.
Yeah, I remember when I was going to college and I started out as a computer science major because my mom was like, you have to get into programming.
Really? Your mom was pushing it?
As an immigrant, your mom's like, all right, I've heard this before, like computer programming's hot, you got to get into it. Dude, I hated it. 1 month in, I'm like, there's no way I could be in computer science. I dropped out. I transferred to College of Business, and I was like, oh, these are my people right here. Boom. Let's go. So it is important, to your point.
Yeah.
You have to love what you're doing. Because if you're going to be stuck, in accounting or whatever, and you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be a good accountant.
Exactly.
Same thing with, real estate.
Yeah.
You get your license, and you're kind of like,
and then
I don't have a passion for this.
Then whatever, just get out then. Do something else. You know what I mean? But do it good. Don't do it like half-ass. Like, even with you, I feel like your evolution, everything you've done, you did like passionate and you try to do as much as possible, the best as possible. You didn't just like talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's huge, man.
Yeah, I love what I do. I mean, every day I wake up, I'm like, this is a new day. I know I'm coming in the office with problems. I just know it.
That's so funny.
But it's like you get to solve problems.
Yeah, dude, that's funny you said that today.
And that's like fun.
Yeah. Before I went to a bank and the bank was like, oh, Greg, how's it going, everything. I'm like, she was asking me about the properties and everything. I'm like, yeah, there's a problem every day. He's like, what? Your problem every day? I'm like, yeah, every day I wake up and there's a problem. That's fine. I'm like, it's normal. When you're doing multiple stuff, there's always going to be a problem. It's just how you resolve it and how you take on the problem, right?
Of course.
Same thing with you, it looks like.
Yeah, there's always problems. We're doing a lot of work, and we have anywhere between 30 and 40 projects at a time, and multiple employees. So it's always either dealing with issues on the project site or in the office or with the town. But that's part of the fun. You get to figure it out, and that's the way you learn. So,
are you looking for new places then, like your new opportunities and stuff every day?
Thing we're looking for is kind of, can we replicate this somewhere else? Can we kind of do what we're doing?
Like
in the
different
Charlotte
states
market?
Or different cities? In North?
We expanded to South Carolina from North Carolina, so we're kind of testing out the waters there, and looking at different markets. So that's kind of been my focus. Just trying to acquire new opportunities in different metros, seeing how that goes. And I think in the next year to 2 years we'll probably get in a couple of different markets.
Okay.
And also, we like to focus on some bigger projects. I think as you accumulate rental properties, there's only you can't have like 2,000 rental properties all over the place, right? Like at some point you need to trade up. You need to consolidate, trade up into maybe like a higher asset.
You're like the next Grant Cardone.
No, Grant Cardone hates single family homes. He's like apartments.
Yeah, he
apartments.
does. He's
like, this is the wrong strategy. I love single family homes. And
he's a hypocrite too a little bit, because his first money he made it with a single family home he sold in.
Oh, is that right?
In California, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he
started.
He started there, made a big chunk of money, and then he bought his.
Yeah, but he's got a platform. He's got to kind of.
Yeah, of course, it's different.
Cater to the audience, and he's got things he's selling. So. Yeah. I'm not selling anything.
No, you're not selling. You're just
talking about it, information sharing. So that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, you share, like, you're a nice guy. That's all. But you're always, I got to say, you're always itching.
I am, man.
Like, dude, I never seen you. I'm like, okay, you bought the six plan. I'm like, okay, cool. And then a year after, like, yeah, Greg, I want to sell it. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to do this, and that. I'm like, okay. Then you do that. And then again.
Yeah.
Dude, you always, since I know you, from day one. Even how many times you moved?
Yeah,
since I know you.
A lot. We probably moved, 8 times, 9 times, I think. I don't know what I could say about that. It's like, it's just part of who I am.
It's your energy, man. Yeah.
And I can't sit still. Yeah. Like if I'm on vacation for a week, dude, day 3, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna whip out my laptop, like do a little work, make some calls, email, look at some deals. I love it.
That's
funny, it's part of the game.
It feeds your energy. You love it.
Of course.
And and you just got to keep busy. That's it. You got to have something going on.
Yeah, I think, once you stop, if you retire and you stop, like.
Are you really ever going to retire?
No. I mean, I'll retire, but I'll still be doing deals.
You'll still be doing stuff. Maybe a little bit
different. A little bit less. I might look like a little bit different, maybe investing into others as opposed to, your own stuff and doing your own deals. But, I think it's always, as long as you keep your mind busy.
Correct.
And, you kind of stay on top of it.
Correct. So, Igor, what do you think for, we're here talking, right? And everybody's probably, people watching are like, wow, he's a successful guy. He made it. But people say, like, oh, but back in the day when you started, it was cheaper. There was foreclosure opportunity. It was before COVID. The prices were better. So if there's a young guy out there having a hard time, because this is what happens to a lot of buyers of mine. I want to get into the investment world. But it's so expensive. It's so high. Like, what's your advice to them?
Yeah, I'll tell you, because I'm the perfect example of this. I bought in the worst time ever. I bought in the peak. Like, remember 05, 06?
Yes, sir.
Dude, properties just every week going up.
Yep, like so crazy.
We bought in the absolute, like, at the top. And it was for us, right? Yeah. Like, it wasn't an investment. It was just we were going to live there. So either A, you pay rent, or you pay a mortgage.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, for us, it was like, hey, we're gonna get into this house. Yep. We're gonna. It was a condo that you sold.
The one I recently sold.
Exactly.
Your first house ever.
So we moved in. Within a year, I mean, the market just crashed.
Tanked.
I mean, that was like, we probably lost 60%, 70% of our value. I remember condos on that block were like, $80,000, $90,000, and we bought ours for $200.
Yep.
But you know what?
What did you do?
We lived in that townhome for a little while.
You didn't panic.
We didn't panic, disappointed, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of like, man, this is not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? So we stayed in there for a while, 5 years. We bought our next house, rented that place out for the next 15 years.
Yep.
So over the course of 15 years, our tenants were paying the mortgage, paying the principal off.
Yep.
And we had, basically no cash flow. We were probably like negative a few bucks a month with association and property taxes going up.
Yep.
But we kept that until recently. You sold it for us, and over the course of 20 years, having held it, that property was almost paid off. We had a 20-year note on it.
Yep.
So it was beautiful because at the end of the day, we got a huge paycheck.
Yep.
And
so whatever happened to the market, up,
it didn't
down,
matter.
irrelevant.
It didn't matter.
Irrelevant.
You're going to have the peaks, you're going to have the valleys, but if you're in it for the long game, you're all good. So for all of you guys that just want to get in, right, just buy a property, just get into it. If you're going to lease it, fine.
Yeah.
It's either you're going to pay rent or you're going to pay a mortgage.
So,
and ultimately,
so if they're buying for themselves, right, then they got to understand if you're paying rent, you should have a mortgage. That's a no-brainer. That's number one. But what about for the investor? Should he buy in and and be negative, or should he at least cash for a little bit or at least break even? What do you think?
I don't like the negative, man. I never like the negative.
Me too.
I mean, you got to at least break even.
Me too.
Right?
That's right. I think that's how we connected, me and you, because we never liked the negative. We're like, no, at least we got to be safe. Yeah, whatever market it was.
Put in some sweat equity or something, but
what about the buyers like, sorry to interrupt you, what about the buyers like, man, but Greg, it's 600,000, 700,000, and they're like afraid because it's so high and the roof is caving in. But
yeah, I'm a huge fan of, if you're in Chicago, this is where your market is. There's a lot of 2 flats, a lot of 3 flats, there's a quad, 6 units. I mean, get into something where you could lease out part of your building, right? Part of your, whether it's a unit, whether it's a basement garden unit, maybe an ADU, whatever it is. You've got some income coming in. And even if it's more expensive, you got a $600,000-$700,000 property. Well, lease it out. You've got some income coming in, offset some of the mortgage, and you're making money that way. It'll bring your payment down so you can afford it.
Correct. So you got to look at the numbers, right?
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it. If you're looking at whatever, it doesn't matter even the price almost. It's like, okay, this is your mortgage and what's coming in. What's the numbers? And then in the meantime, if you break even and you're not negative, at least the tenants are paying down your loan. And so you're having that appreciation plus some tax benefits. And then plus real estate's a hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
Because the money in the bank is going to be worth probably half in 20 years. Instead, real estate, you'll pay it off and it'll be worth whatever, the inflation is at that point.
Yeah, because if you're gonna be on the sidelines for 10 years, that's 10 years you could have had a tenant in there, or you could have been making payments. Property's going up in value. Usually the more expensive a property, the better location, the more upside it has in the long term. Long term, so that's one thing to look at. If you're just gonna look for something cheap, typically it's not gonna appreciate as much as something a little more expensive.
But Igor, another question for you, because you have so much experience and you've done it all pretty much, if you think about it, in the past 20 years. The numbers, are your numbers really super precise, or sometimes could they be off a little bit and you're okay with it throughout the process? Like, are you trying to be precise right by the penny, that you're not negative, or something unexpected happens, or you just there is also a little risk factor that.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't ever be. There's always a surprise coming, right?
Right. Okay.
You can't. I mean, how are you gonna predict the future? You can't have.
Yeah.
If you ran your numbers and you're at a point of we're making $15 a month.
Yeah.
That's too slim, right?
Yeah,
you have to have some buffer in there for.
Yeah.
For
I just feel like
things.
some people overrun their numbers.
Overanalyze.
Overanalyze. And then they never do it.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, by the time they come back, hey, Greg, I want to do it, 10 years has passed by, and that same property is 100,000 worth more.
Yeah, now you can get in.
Now you can't even get in. And your salary is the same.
Yeah.
And the 50,000 you had in the bank is still it's 52,000 maybe.
Look, I think everybody's goal should be, and this might sound stupid, but you should try to buy one property a year. It's not crazy. Find one property, buy it, and that's all. Just forget about it.
If you're an investor, you should have that goal.
And then the next year you buy another one, and it gets easier. The third year you buy. In 20 years you got 20 properties, and then that first one is almost paid off. The second 100%. One's almost paid off,
100%.
and you're just snowballing it.
100%.
It's great.
And then from there too, you don't know, of course, what happens, right? But it seems like the U.S. government is a fan of real estate, and they don't let it crash. or even if they do a quick reset and then they'll bring it back up. In the meantime, you're building equity. And you could do a lot of stuff by pulling equity, doing other projects, selling it, 1031 exchange. I mean, we could have a whole nother episode about that.
Yeah.
It gives you more options. Did it give you more options?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you were just sit back and lived in your coach home, had your regular job, and never did anything and watch hockey at 5:00, would you be here today?
Absolutely not. No.
That's right. So real estate is
it
kind of the vehicle that open up a lot of.
I love it. And going back to what you said about the government, I think they incentivize investors. They incentivize builders, people who provide housing for the population because we need housing. How else are you going to do it? And so they do step in.
Yep.
And that's why we have a lot of tax breaks. You have a lot of write-offs, and you're not. I think a lot of landlords get a bad rep. Because people think of taking advantage, but we're doing things by the code, by the tax code.
Correct, exactly. And I feel like the economy in USA runs a lot around real estate.
Yeah, construction.
A lot. Versus like in Europe, for example, it doesn't. It's just harder to get in homes. They don't rely their economy with real estate. They just don't, and that's why values are pretty flat. Except maybe for certain big cities, but for the most part, they're pretty flat. And say United States, there's opportunity where they run around real estate. So even the little city, or like now, no offense, I mean, North Carolina is beautiful, but even North Carolina, and then maybe 10 years ago, nobody would even think about it. Now it's booming. And so it created other opportunities and many other markets in the United States.
Yeah. And I think any market really has a little bit of, like, if you're in Chicago and you can't break in the Chicago market, there's a lot of little areas outside of Chicago. If it was me and I moved back here, I'd probably look at places outside, like Indiana, right? Like Northwest Indiana. I mean, you've got
so pretty much you would not be looking at Lincoln Park or Park Ridge.
Oh, absolutely not.
You'll look at C areas to break in.
I'd look at secondary markets.
Yeah.
They're kind of it's easier to break in.
Yeah.
Maybe not as regulated.
Like, where was your first building? Like, if you could share. Like, I'm not saying the city, but was it an A area or B area? What kind of area?
In North Carolina?
The first one you bought here.
Oh, in here. Well, that was
the big one, the commercial one.
Oh, that was probably a what is it, like a C area?
Maybe C plus.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't B or A.
But, it needed some work. It needed some,
it needed some work.
Rougher. But over the course of time, the area improves.
It worked out.
More investors are kind of stepping in, and
just for numbers, just to give examples. We don't have to give specifics, but the building was purchased, I think. Was it
I think
4?
What do we pay? 400.
There was 400,000, huge, 6 flats, huge. It was a big one.
Yeah.
And then over time, now the recent sale. What was the recent sale? Probably
it's sold twice, I think.
Yep.
I mean, I want to say
almost double.
I want to say 800.
Yeah.
I know.
Double. I mean, I know. Don't worry about for yourself. Don't worry about your numbers.
It's a little bit.
You're still okay.
It's a little bit, but when you have opportunities to do other things with your money, you take that.
Yeah,
and
for you it's different.
In.
You did it, but I'm saying for a simple guy, like one guy, a buyer, just wants one investment property. One. If he would have bought that and didn't do nothing else, just take care of the building.
$500,000 in
exactly.
10 years. Yeah, that's great.
Where are you gonna make that?
Not at your job.
I'm just telling you. Exactly. Not at your job. Now your boss is not giving you a bonus of $400,000 in 5 years or 10, whatever. Just not happening. So that's why I think real estate is really a great vehicle to build wealth.
I agree.
And I'm really always pounding my agents out there too. They should buy more properties. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. And because I love it. I mean, I walk the talk, so I'm not talking about something that I don't do.
That was a huge thing why I wanted to work with you. From the very get-go, I remember talking to you, and I was like, I worked with other agents. All they said was like, "Hey, can I get your listing? Can I get your listing?"
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, are you investing? Are you an actual investor?"
You did ask me,
and I'm like, "Oh wow, this guy's like actually believes in investing and real estate and the long-term wealth of it." So that's why I think we clicked.
Yeah, I think so.
And we're like, "Hey, we're willing to put in the work. We see the value part of it. Like, there's a lot of like nuances of certain areas." And that's key. I think if you're willing to kind of put in the work and you believe in long-term wealth, that's real estate's the key.
I agree.
Yeah.
So besides all the real estate, one more advice you would give to the public. What about as a person? Like how their mindset? I'm always a big believer in mindset. I think besides all the tools, the learning, and all the opportunities and people you could meet, but how's your mindset every morning, every day, the past since like, dude, you came here as a refugee. I mean, your mindset should be like, oh my God,
I think
my life is terrible.
The biggest thing I would say is I would try to put myself in the situations that I'm not comfortable in, because for us we were never comfortable. We're not really Americans. We grew up here, but we never really fit in. Yeah. So it's like always, if you're kind of uncomfortable, it pushes you outside of your boundaries, and you have to figure out, how am I going to make this work? Yeah. And I was telling Carlos earlier too. I was like, man, if you get into that mindset of like, I got to make it work, and you're not comfortable in this zone, like mama's not going to come and help you. That's the biggest piece of advice, And it's hard because you have to force yourself. No one's going to force you, right? No. Unless you kick your kids out and you're like, hey,
but it's you against you, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of whole head game, Yep. And you're the easiest person to convince yourself. And so it's very hard to push yourself outside that box and say, all right, I'm going to go out and do something on a limb, make myself feel a little uncomfortable. Yeah. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's always worth it. It's always worth it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Listen, Igor, it was a pleasure having you.
It's been fun, Greg.
I mean, it's been fun. I love that you're in town and you're doing this with me, and we went out for dinner. And the next episode, when you're back, we're gonna do episode 2 with Igor.
Yeah,
and we want to know all your other investments you're gonna be doing. Who knows?
We'll do it. We got a couple of things lined up that's pretty exciting. So, yeah.
Well, maybe I'll bring the podcast to Charlotte.
Hey, do it.
Why not? Take a little trip, with Carlos here.
To be continued. All right, man. I love it.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Episode 54 is all done, guys. Ciao, ciao.